This is a character design exercise in which I am improvising both the role of the interviewer and the role of the creature being interviewed. Characters with the most likes and views will be animated and made into a lo-fi album. What is your name? My name is Esmeralda, and I'm from the line of Merlin. So, what kind of being are you? I'm feline. I'm a cat, but I was once human. I was turned into a cat by a vengeful witch who did not appreciate my assistance. As Merlin had a strong connection to royalty, I am also favored by the royal family in my magic, in my magical doings, in my craft. Now I'm familiar to another witch, a friend of mine. She's very well established in witchcraft. I help her with anything she needs. I have a fierce loyalty. Any errand or any delivery, anything like that, I will be there to help her. I help her with potion making. I help her fetch things. I help her make decisions and remind her of things. Anything she needs, I am there to help. Who was the vengeful witch? What happened with that? What was her story? She came to me on a very rainy, cold evening when all was dark. There was no moon. It was a new moon. She was very embarrassed by what she was asking for. She had a situation of unrequited love. And she wanted a love spell, a love potion that would turn the tide, that would convince this man of his love for her. And the spell became rancid. It became rancid. Love spells are obsession based, and so there was no true kindness within the connection. Love spells bring attention to that person. You can also add some aphrodisiac aspects, some warmth and sort of feelings of love, but the true compassion is based in, and kindness is based in the person who takes the potion. And so he wasn't a good person. He wasn't kind. He didn't have that basis in virtue. And so she met the repercussions of that. She had drawn the attention of someone who could hurt her. And she took her frustrations out on me. It is well known how these spells work, and so it was unfortunate that she chose the wrong person. It is, in fact, choosing a person that is important to the success of a spell. Choosing the... Yes, there's many decisions, and a blinded person, one blinded by their own obsession, will not be able to see these sorts of things clearly. So, he turned me into a cat. I guess it changed my perspective away from my own power and towards the helping of others. So, I feel like I've, in fact, gained an advantage in my pursuits in life. And yeah, I love my friend who I'm assisting, and I'm very appreciative of who she is and the work she's doing. She also does love spells, but she's a lot more demanding in her protocols. She won't help some people who she feels have nefarious intentions or are selfish or are blinded by their own wants, their own desires. Um, I think she's probably learned that from my situation, but she's also just more pragmatic. What does your home look like? Well, my own home was very close to the castle. It was an old mill beside the river. Very charming. Hay, it had a hay roof, and it had, a beautiful wooden, had a beautiful wooden watermill on its side, and the previous owners used it for grains and things like that. But now I use it for processing my herbs, and I have or back then I did, and I had a quite an assembly line, a production line. I had a lot of people working for me, and I think there was a certain amount of greed I had. Production was far greater than maybe the demand, and so I would sell anything to anyone. And now I work for my friend, and we live together in an old mansion. A lot of spiraling staircases carving up to the next floor, to the second floor. It's 2 floors, but and the grandness is more in its form. There's sort of this great open entrance area with these carving staircases to the second floor, and this um, and all along the sides of the room, there's this second story sort of look at like a hallway that looks out into this reading area. Kind of hard to describe this, what it's called. It's like a deck, but it's an indoor deck. And then there's some galleries with art on the walls, and this is the living room. There's about 6 bedrooms, but everything's kind of small. The rooms aren't gigantic. It's sort of like the original builders of this place had a certain budget that they could use, but they wanted the grandeur of some of these features, so it's slightly condensed. Maybe not height-wise, but width-wise and depth-wise. It's almost like everything was 3/4 or half of what it should be. Yeah, so there's a sense of it being condensed. Maybe I don't think that the original occupants were very small because the height was still there. I think before it was just, like I said. Now I'm thinking about, ooh, so everything is stained a very dark, it's like a dark wood stain, sort of sort of a dusty feeling to it. We spend most of the day is in the laboratory, the alchemist's room, where we create potions and stock them. And we don't have I mean, it's just me and her. And sometimes we'll get larger orders in which we're stocked for. Most of the time, it's just one person here and there. We usually only stock potions that need a certain amount of time to cure or some sort of time limit, and so that the person who's looking to purchase a potion can go with it that day. Otherwise, there's so many potions in this grimoire, in my friend's grimoire, that We don't really have the time or resources. Potions can expire. We don't produce most of these potions beforehand. And yeah, if they can be made right then that's preferable because then the person gets a fresh batch, which freshness for these herbs and for these ingredients is kind of very important. And this room is it's amazing. There's, okay, so there's books all along the walls, there's herbs all along the walls. It's a round room, or maybe it's octagon. And then there's a spiraling staircase that spirals along the walls all the way up to the second floor, which is entirely a library. There's less books on the first floor of this area. It's more of it's just herbs, jars of herbs and ingredients. Sometimes, like, yeah, there's some bat toes and weird things like that, that animals and stuff. Some taxidermy, which is far more disturbing when you perceive it as a cat. There, I've had some perspective changes after my transformation. And then in the top, there's the top floor. You have to. There's a lock. There's a door, and then there's a lock. And I've never even gone into that room. There's my friend has a secret, and it's in that room, and she keeps it locked away. And I don't think any of us will ever know, and that secret will pass on with her. And whoever owns this house after, if they can unlock that door, because it's not just a key lock, it is a spell lock. If they can breach that spell, then they will find that secret, but it's highly unlikely. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.